Really? That's all the clapping I get? Really? I drove like 90 hours to get here from a civilized place to this place. This is far for me. This is way up there. I saw a squirrel outside with a backpack. It's ridiculous up here. You guys got it going on. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Oh, boy. So, I got to tell you how happy I am to be here. I'm public school educated, and it's kind of, I was always a class clown from day one. And here I am speaking at an institution of higher learning. Follow your dreams. That's what I'm talking about. Follow your dreams. What's going on? You with me? You with me? Good. Get loose. We're going to have a good time. I am not, you don't have to clutch your bag so tough. I'm not going to come over there. I know he's speaking, but he's quick. Yeah, I want to talk to you folks about the creative process and how I come to do what I do. You know, comedy is, I think it's something that's born within you. Like I said, I've had this class clown attitude pretty much my whole life. I got sent out of a lot of rooms for making noise and being an annoyance. I'm the youngest of 6 boys. Anybody else here from a large family? Anybody? Anybody from a large family? Okay. Any of your family here tonight? Most of these people? Maybe? No? No? You're his father? Okay. Got it. Nice. Youngest of 6 boys. And again, I just, growing up, always found the humor in a lot of things. And as I began to get older, my teachers would always tell me there's a time and place for everything. And it's probably not during history class, but I couldn't help it. History class was the greatest audience I ever had in history class. So whenever the teacher would leave the room, I would stand up and kind of give my own history lesson about the history of Chris Tabb. Always about having fun and just doing what I like to do. So when I began in comedy, or I didn't really know I was beginning in comedy, my friends were tired of me kind of being the class clown in the group and always making them laugh. And they told me, you got to go out and do something with this. You got to go and do what you do and figure out a way to do it. So I walked into this place one day. It was near Fenway Park, and this guy became my first agent. And from there, I started performing in Cambridge at this place, the Cantab Lounge, and there were 3 people in the audience, and I was doing my little jokes, and it was fun, but I wasn't feeling the love that I saw the comics on TV getting. And then I decided to dig a little deeper and figure out, what is it about this humor thing? How do we unlock it? How do we get at it? How do I become those guys I've seen on TV? So everybody here has heard of Bill Cosby? Bill Cosby, maybe some of you. Bill Cosby. No, not so much Bill Cosby. Have you heard of Bill Cosby? Yeah. Bill Cosby, in my opinion, one of the greatest stand-up minds ever. Bernie Mac, I also love. But there's a lot of guys out there. Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, all of these great comedians, but all with very different styles. They all do the same thing, but how do they do it so differently from one another? What is their creative process to get to where they were in their game? Or where everybody here knows Kevin Hart? He didn't just come out yesterday. Kevin Hart's been at it for about 12 or 15 years. But there's that creative process that goes into it. You like Kevin Hart? You had a big smile on your face. Is he your cousin? Is he your cousin? That's like, no, I know you're not related to Kevin Hart. I can just look at you and see that you're not related to Kevin Hart at all. Yeah, maybe you were his nanny. Could have been, possibly. But there's a long creative road that goes into creating material and learning timing and learning stage presence and creating what is your act. And if I can refer you to when you watch comedians, what you want to do is get some of their early stuff. Get some of their early works, not the stuff after they become a superstar and you see them in the Ford Focus ads or the Fiat ads. You want to see some of their early stuff because that's when they spent 5 years, about 5 years writing the material you saw in that half hour. That is all part of that creative process. Working it and working it and working it and continuing to work the material. As far as comedy, to me, anyway, and a lot of things I say up here will be opinion-based because what makes you laugh might not make me laugh. So humor is subjective. You might find something funny that I don't really find funny. Like right now, your face is straight. You don't find me funny at all. Not even a little bit, a wincy bit. Maybe. Maybe. You keep curling up tighter and tighter every time I say something to you. What makes one person laugh might not make another person laugh. So a big part of comedy is fearlessness. Fearlessness, because you have to decide what you created is funny. And comedy, in my opinion, is probably one of the purest forms of entertainment. Stand-up comedy, one of the purest forms, because there's no take two. There's no take two in comedy. It's not like acting in a movie where there's a stunt double and scripts, and if you do it wrong, you can do it again. When you're on stage, you're by yourself, that's it. Take one. Do it. Deliver it. Deliver it the way that you want to deliver it. It takes a little bit of skill, it takes a lot of practice, and a whole lot of patience. A whole lot of patience in creating that material. It's why you kind of see, you do see a lot of comedians who go on to become actors in movies, correct? That's star in movies. They started out in stand-up, and they become starring in a movie. How many have you seen go from acting to stand-up? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's one of the purest forms of entertainment and probably one of the hardest to learn. I don't know if you can learn stand-up. There's just some sort of innate thing you have to have within you because it takes a lot of showing off. You have to love to hear yourself talk. You have to not care what people think about you or what you're saying. And most times, you're kind of to yourself. We live in a very judgmental society where everyone's judging what the next person is saying. In stand-up, you can't care what the person on the front row and the back row or whatever is thinking. You have to decide yourself. This stuff is funny, and I'm doing it. Is that your, what do you have, a rotary dial cell phone? How did it make that? Well, you got your phone in your hand. That's why we're pointing. Oh, are you expecting a major jam to drop or something? A hot download is coming through. What, is that going to vibrate? You good? You good? You're holding it tight. I'm trying to get the... A little bit? No? All right. You're clutching it so I don't steal it? That's why. I can tell you got it for Christmas. Okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's fine. And also in stand-up, everyone else gets to judge or decide if you're funny. You can believe you're the funniest person on the planet. It doesn't matter. It's what the crowd thinks. And again, it's one of the purest forms because no other form of entertainment does it that way. You know, when you make a record and the album's out, the album's out. People buy it, whatever. They buy it, they like it. And stand-up, if no one laughs, everyone has just decided you're not funny. Even though you believe in your heart of hearts, I'm funny. I can do this. I can do this. So there's a lot of, you got to stick with it. You got to stick with it. If you believe it, you can do it. If you believe it, you can do it. Again? What?
It's not me.
You literally download ringtones, don't you? That's, wow. The busy signal? Really? Really? You wasted 99 cents on the busy signal? Come on. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. So, the process of writing comedy. And let me take a step back. Stand-up, what I found, can lead in so many different directions, it's not even funny. It's not even, I had no idea the number of paths that start out with just stand-up. Writing being a huge path in stand-up, because a lot of the stand-up comedians, this girl is, what is it? What is it? You paid $1.49 for it, so you want to make sure everybody knows? Is it you?
No, it's not.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Are you passing gas? And it sounds like a ringtone?
I saw the phone yesterday.
I got you. We got a phone-style pizza. It was fun. Writing is a big path in stand-up. A lot of the larger or monolithic stand-up comedians that you've seen in the past and today have writers. Have writers, and the bigger the comedian is, the more than likely chance they have a team of writers. Jay Leno, team of writers. Kevin Hart, team of writers. Bernie Mac, 2 writers. Chris Rock, 1 writer. Ali Leroy. So there's so many paths to leading from stand-up. A lot of the sitcoms that you see on television, stand-up comedians are on the writing staff. If you ever look at the credits for all the late night talk shows, all former and existing comedians. So many paths in stand-up. But usually it starts out with you writing your own jokes. You usually don't start off in stand-up with a team of comedians, because there's a little bit of work that goes into creating an act. And the act is really only one part of it. That's really only one part of it. You have to establish who you are on stage, your stage presence, what it is you're doing up there, and what message you're trying to convey. So that's why it would be hard for you starting out with a writer behind you, because only you know your voice. You're the only one who knows your voice. Unless you're like him, then they go to college together and hang around all day together, you two in the back. And that'll be a solid drink back there, thank you. So only you know your voice. So usually, when I start off, my writing style, and again, there are many different writing styles. The traditional style would be you sit down at a desk, you got your book, and you write out what you feel is something humorous, or something sort of in the path of a joke. Usually, you don't want to try to write jokes. You just want to get a stream of consciousness going. Just start writing. Because it's hard to judge at that moment if you're going to write it down or not, if you think it's funny or not. Because again, you're not going to be the only one deciding if it's funny or not. You've got to just write it. Just write it out. You'll take that and you'll work it. You'll work that material. The only way to work material is on stage. You got to get on stage and work the material. It could be nuances in that joke or that story that you're not aware of until you get up and try to deliver it. You've got to try to deliver it to the people. The art of stand-up is sort of like, I like to liken it to a reverse tornado. A reverse tornado, because you're trying to bring people into your world so they can see things through your eyes. You're not trying to get into their world. I'm trying to bring you into my world so you can see it the way I see it. The only way that's done is with words and with writing, and how can I explain this so everybody gets it? How can I explain it so I don't have to end this joke with, well, I guess you had to be there. You hear it all the time at a cookout, I guess you had to be there. The other day, I'm telling you, there was a pit bull with 3 legs at the ATM. I'm telling you, it was funny. I guess you had to be there. You can't end with, I guess you had to be there. You have to put them in the moment. The only way that comes is with writing and reworking the material. The only way to rework material is on stage. So my writing style would be, I would write out what's called the premise. You write out the initial idea, or what it is, the nugget that you think you can get something out of this. And sometimes I have a few ideas floating around my head about it. I'll have a couple of things floating around. And then I want to get on stage and try it out and throw it out. And here comes that fearlessness. Because you could have an act that's going great, and now you want to throw in this brand new joke, never tried, you don't know how it's going to come out. Am I going to say it correctly? Have these people been drinking too much? Are they not even going to hear what I'm saying? There's loud noises in the back. There's a couple of cell phones going off in the front. There's people knocking their drinks over. How do I get this out? Fearlessness. You got to deliver it. Listening when you do the joke is a huge part of it. You have to listen. You have to listen to the feedback you're getting from the audience. So when people see me perform, they always say, oh, that was great, it was fantastic, but what they don't know is that there's two shows going on. There's two shows. There's the one that you see, and there's the one going on in my head, looking at my notebook, saying, am I delivering this right? Am I saying the lines right? Did I get all the words out that I wanted to get out? The joke just bombed. Maybe I missed a word. Maybe I didn't say something right, but I'm still talking. I'm still talking. I'm still trying to recover. I'm still trying to get the audience back. When you write a joke, I'll give you some insider how comedians feel about their jokes. Comedians feel like their jokes are their children. They are your children. Because when a child starts out, you start off with this small child, and you're trying to raise this child to be one of the strongest children in the group. So you're not going to abandon the kid. You're not going to throw him away. You're going to keep working with him. Now, sometimes, yeah, he wanders around. He's got a cross eye. You can't tell, like, sometimes he doesn't belong in the group. He won't play right with the other kids or whatever. No, this is my child. I'm going to keep him here in the family. So you keep reworking the joke because you believe in it. You believe in this piece of material. How do you rework the joke? How do you rework the joke? You have to record yourself. You've got to record it so you can hear it back and listen to it and see it. What was your voice inflection? What was your tone? Maybe you swore too much. Maybe you didn't swear enough. Maybe it needs something at the end. Maybe it needs something at the beginning. Jerry Seinfeld is quoted as one of the best joke structure people in the history of comedy. Because Jerry was the type that could hear a line and take your joke and say, no, you got to take this word out, move this over here, say this first. And if you didn't have an understanding of the English language, you were just going to be lost when you sat down and talked to Jerry Seinfeld. So you have to know your English and your verbs and your pronouns and your predicates. Now, I'm public school educated and not the top in my class. Comedy has given me a whole other education on speaking to people, talking, your tone, your voice, your diction, and at the same time, being yourself. Being yourself. So I don't know what different styles of writing everyone in the room does. And by all means, at any point during this, if you have a question, throw your hands in the air and wave them around like you just don't care. And let me know if you have a question or something. No, I just wanted to put you on the spot. I don't know what different styles of writing you folks are doing, but it's all going to come back to those core elements of trying to see it, and is this conveyed right to the people? So in screenwriting, any screenwriters here? Anyone want to go into, get out? No. You asked me to come up here and put me in a movie?
Me?
Well, I'm already in a movie.
I know.
She's doing a great silent movie coming up.
She's doing a silent movie. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah, I get on the bandwagon.
That's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. In screenwriting, you usually can't see the result until it's on the screen to see if it came out. You have your cold readings and so forth, and those would be your versions of the rewrite. When you sit down in the cold reading and you have to have the right actor to portray the part, and they have to have the right look, and they have to have the right delivery. In comedy, you are the leading man, the co-star, the woman, you're the love scene, you're everything. So sometimes you got to take on those different roles to deliver it and bring the joke home. How do you bring the joke home? How do I talk to a room? And I'll give you an example of some of the places that I've performed. I've done comedy at a retirement community where the average age was 70. After they had had pudding, they wanted to sit down and have some comedy. I've done it at a memorial before someone was about to be buried. They thought that comedy would be a nice... Yeah, that's the look I had on my face when they invited me to do it. I've done it for high school kids at a high school graduation. High school graduation. The younger your audience is, the more honest they're going to be with you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, kids do not care about your feelings. A 5-year-old will tell you you suck in a second. And there's nothing you can do. Well, you can chop him in the throat, but he's not supposed to chop a 5-year-old in the throat. But I know I can take them. I mean, some of them are tough because they wear Timberlands and stuff, but sometimes I just want to cut them low. Kids are very honest in telling you what they think of your material. So for those different events and those different places I had to perform, I had to kind of take, and there wasn't time to rewrite an entire act. I mean, you might have the gig on Friday and it's Wednesday. So it's not so much about sitting down and writing brand new jokes to cater to that audience. What I'm saying is, how can I take what I already have and make these people understand it? Understand it. That was easier for me than trying to create this brand new act, 15 new jokes, and they don't get it. So I had to convert and rewrite and sit down and not so much dumb it down, but maybe lessen it. Because your nightclub act is probably going to be different than your act at Tunxis. You know? You want the nightclub act, don't you? You put your bag down. That is so nice. Thank you. You can put your iPhone down too. You can put your iPod down too. No, you're not going to put it down. I got you. It's okay. It's okay. I've also been on television a few times. I performed on BET's Comic View twice. I've also been on the Food Network's Cake Challenge. Where my Cake Challenge fans at? Cake Challenge fans? It's just me and you, Bender. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. It's just me and you. For Comic View, it was pretty intense. Pretty intense because they wanted your entire act has to be written out for them, and it has to fit exactly into the time frame of exactly what they're doing. So you get whatever it is, 8 minutes, and you have to decide on what jokes you want to do and stick them in and do them in 8 minutes. Now your act might be 15, so you're trying to decide, how do I get this 15 down to 8 and cram it in? All in the reworking, rewrite. Maybe I can take this out. Maybe I can still make a point by taking this part of the act out. I usually get up and try to perform about maybe 3 to 4 nights a week. So I can always try out new material and at the same time stay sharp in the material that I have. How many of you have been to a comedy club? Wow. many of you have been outside of Farmington? You put your hand down. You just attached to that phone. Put your hand down. Okay. So, do you normally get your comedy on TV? Do you have TV?
No.
Who has cable? What is the big cable provider up here? What is it? Is it Direct TV? Is it Comcast? Was it 3 channels? You get 3? 3 channels, that's all you get? Oh, okay, all right. All right, you have a question? Or were you just saying you have to go to the bathroom? I'm sorry? Great point about YouTube. That's a great point. Say hallelujah. Oh, that ain't no hallelujah. You ain't never been to church. Seeing it on your computer screen, or on your television is nothing like going to a comedy club and seeing it live. You have to see live comedy, especially if you want to be a writer or want to pursue writing as a career. Seeing live comedy can be an entire classroom's worth of education for you, because there's so much going on stage, especially if you see the same comic 2 or 3 times, because more than likely 80% of their act is going to be the same, but how are they changing it up? How are they switching it up? How is it from one club to the next club? Because when you watch it on YouTube, you're normally seeing it after it's polished and beautiful and being presented to you. And what you want to see is that creative process. How did it get to the point of where it got to? There's a lot of building that goes into it. So as I said, you usually start out with a premise. So, somebody give me a premise. And a premise is a topic or a subject or something. And don't try to be funny right off. Just give me a topic or a premise. Don't say nothing about that phone. Say nothing about that phone. What happened? An inebriated weatherman. Have you experienced that before? That's why they only have 3 channels. They got drunk weathermen delivering the weather up here. See, nobody knew it was going to be spring today. They thought it was going to be a blizzard. See, because they got the inebriated weatherman on. Now, when you say inebriated weatherman, they automatically, everybody starts thinking that would be something that's either kind of funny or, tragic. Some might think, how many think that that's not funny? I knew it. I just knew it. But that's good, that's good. See, she doesn't think an inebriated weatherman's funny, but you do. But you still have to get up and deliver it. What the magic is, making her think that it is funny. That it is something funny. And yeah, it's over the top, but it's 2012. It could happen. It could happen. Much stranger things have happened. It could happen. So, the inebriated weatherman. Okay. Now we need a mix. We need a mix. We need something. What's the inebriated weatherman doing? You don't know what the inebriated... How about doing the weather? He could be doing the weather. Or maybe the inebriated weatherman tries to do the sports. Ha-ha. So the sports dude is over there, and then the inebriated weatherman comes up and I wanted UConn to win. UConn, go Huskies! Still not funny. You're laughing, see? And you didn't think it was funny. So if you were to go on stage with a premise such as that, it might have something added to it every night. Every night in my 3 nights, I'm going to try to add something to it to bring it together, to try to deliver that punch at the end. Something to try to give it the twist. Give me a twist on the inebriated weatherman. Oh, your God. What?
Just got divorced.
He just got divorced. He got some problems at home, so that was pretty serious. That was pretty serious.
It's the first thing that popped in my head.
The inebriated. That was the first thing that popped into your head. That's pretty deep, Chief. I'm sorry if things are just getting a little real for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. He said if the inebriated weatherman was getting divorced. That might be the lead-in to the bit. That might be the lead-in, because that's what you're saying is that's the reason that he's drunk on the air and delivering the sports. Yeah, I got you. Reworking and rewriting the material is probably the biggest part of stand-up. Right now, I know that Kevin Hart is on tour, and it's probably a good time to go see him, because he is more than likely working material for a special that you're going to see sometime next year. So it's going to be new jokes, new material. Some nights he'll use one joke, some nights he won't use. He's testing it to see if it works in one arena versus another. And him drawing a cross-section of people is great, So drawing a cross-section of people brings me to my topic of know your audience. You have to know who you're creating for or who you're trying to create for. What audience are you trying to reach? What are you gonna say? Just say it.
No, I'm shy.
You're shy? Yeah. You know you're up front, right? You might have wanted to be back near the pizza. You're not shy anymore?
No, I am still.
You're still shy?
Yes.
What do we have to do to get you out of that right now?
You know.
Just leave you alone? Are you with the police? Is that? No, if you have a question, just say it.
No,
just,
I don't have questions.
You don't. You just start muttering to yourself. Sometimes you just by yourself, sitting in the front, and you didn't want me to hear it. Okay.
I didn't have to talk. No, I didn't.
You didn't have a chance to turn on the washing machine? What did you do? Okay, I'm trying to follow you. Okay.
It's hard.
Know your audience. Know your audience. The disadvantage or the advantage that you get used to in stand-up.
That was you that time.
What happened? She got minutes. Okay, it's all right. You understand, you got minutes. Okay, you're bragging because you got a new phone card. We got it. You have to know your audience. Now, in stand-up, normally you're walking into a room full of strangers. So you don't have the advantage of knowing your audience. So that's when you have to be fearless and let the material speak for itself. Maybe you've played the place before, or maybe you try to get an idea of the area that you're performing in. That's what's going to bring you closer to that audience. Maybe you make some local references. But all you're usually going to have is your material to stand on, because you don't know these people and they don't know you. And that's how, how many people have ever had somebody, or maybe there are people in this room that say, you know what, people tell me I'm funny and I should be a stand-up comedian. You don't have to put your hand up, I already know that people think that. No, not you, Nanny. Not you.
How do you know?
Do people think you're funny?
I'm a clown.
Huh?
I'm a professional clown.
What?
I'm a professional clown. You're a class clown. I'm a real clown.
Hey, don't be calling me out by name, okay? You don't know me like that, all right? You mean to earn money, you're a clown?
I don't actually charge. It's just a
Okay, here's the thing. If you're gonna walk around in the clown clothes with the makeup on, you should get paid for that, okay? Because if you just walk down to the mall with the clown clothes on and the big shoes, you might end up in the back of the squad car. That's what I'm telling you. That's, you should tell people. Yeah. Now, clown in handcuffs is funny. That is pretty funny. I would love to see that. Bow your head, please. Take your hat off and your hand hit the top of the thing. So, do you do it at children's parties or something?
Hospitals, churches,
Oh.
libraries.
Hospitals?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you, when you walk in with the green hair and the big nose and the shoes and somebody's down life support, how do they, like, meep, and all of a sudden you go, I think I saw Jesus, he had red hair. Jesus walked in with big shoes on. Walk towards the light. Walk away from the cloud. But that's cool if you are a clown, because that style humor, because clowns don't normally speak, so you have to be visual. You have to convey the humor without speaking, which is another type of humor. You won't find many stand-ups putting on the clown makeup because we want to say something. But yeah, no, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Usually, when I perform, I usually try one new joke every performance. I'll try to throw out something new to see if it works, to see what kind of reaction I get out of it. My style of writing is usually, I write on stage. I'll take a premise with me and I'll take it on stage and throw it out and see what I get. Some style of writing is they'll sit down, pen and paper, write it out line for line and do it. And those are usually your comedians. Does anybody know who Dennis Miller is? Dennis Miller. Say it emphatically from your chest. Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller usually does political style humor. Oh, he sat in on Monday Night Football. Remember one season he did Monday Night Football. Yeah, yeah. See where stand-up will take you? See? Not the clown stuff, not the clown stuff. And depending on your style of comedy is probably going to dictate your style of writing. I've been described as high energy and just kind of off the cuff, and I just like to kind of get up and do what I do. I still have to write. There still has to be something there. There still has to be substance. I write for myself, so I don't have anybody to write for me, and I think right now I do a pretty good job of writing my own story, writing for myself. You have a question?
Yeah. Would you tell us the use of a pause as a humorous thing? I mean, how do you know when to pause, and how do you know how long the pause to be? What kind of feedback do you get from the audience when you're...
Well, sometimes it's like,
This is not a house.
and then they all started laughing. See? I know what you mean. The pause is normally used if you were to say something that maybe you want to make the audience feel awkward, or maybe put a thought in their head.
Like Jack Benny, the master.
Who is it? Jack Benny, your neighbor?
Right.
You had a neighbor named Jack Benny?
Benny, right.
Wow, nice. All right, yeah. I think the dude that fixed my car's name was Jack Benny. Right? Bill Cosby. You know, you're not sure. You know who Bill Cosby is?
Bill New York.
You are amazing. No. So anyway, there are different techniques and tactics, like you brought up, using the pause. And some of those things you can't write, though. Some of those things you can't write. And those things might come from your comedic timing. You have to have timing on stage, and your timing is the rhythm of your jokes. You don't want to go too fast, you don't want to go too slow, you want to embody who you are on stage and have great timing. Timing is so important in joke writing, and they use a lot of pauses when they're trying to create timing. especially in sitcoms. They do that a lot. So, you were giving me the signal for time, Mike, right? Okay, all right. I'm gonna take questions from you guys. And does anyone have a question? And here's my first question, what most people ask me. You're gonna be good? Is the medicine wearing off? Is everything okay? Everything okay? I like them though. They'd be good at a comedy club. If they had money, it'd be great. They could get the tickets, it'd be fabulous. Question I'm often asked is, how does one go about getting into comedy? How do you get started as a comedian? Like I said, I started, I was a class clown, and my friends told me that I needed to be a little bit more focused and get something done with it. So I found a guy who became my first agent, and my first stand-up performance was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, at a place called the Tabb Lounge. And the night I did jokes, there was a band playing upstairs, and no one could hear me downstairs. There were 6 people downstairs and 200 people upstairs for the band. Welcome to comedy. It was a great night. It was a great night. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. Who has a question? You both, maybe you both have a question together, because you seem to be sharing a brain. So maybe you could get together and figure out the one question. Is there one question between the two of you? I got you. Thing 1 and thing 2 with the red shirts. I got it. I got it. You guys are trying to knock it out. Knock it out. You have a question.
I do. So how do you come up with those premises? Like, do you have any kind of system? Do you ever feel like when do they occur to you? Or do you ever have a way of getting yourself to come up with those? Or
Great question. Usually based on your style of writing, comedians are looking for humor all day, every day, whether they seem like it or not. Everything can be turned into comedy. It is just all in your level of comfort with the event. Like, no one would think that cancer is funny, but there are a ton of comedians out there with cancer that's the basis of their whole act. So how do you turn cancer funny, or how do you turn growing up in a house with 6 boys and sharing clothes into funny? So you're always looking for things. It just depends on your style of humor. Chris Rock reads 5 newspapers every day, and he has it in his rider that at every venue he performs at, there has to be 5 newspapers, including the local paper and USA Today. So his style dictates that he likes to grab headlines from the news or things that are going on or important in the news. Whereas somebody like Mike Epps writes about his mom sitting on the toilet flicking out a cigarette. You know, that's humor to him. Oh, you didn't think that was funny? See what I mean? So the humor can come from anywhere. And normally, you're just always looking. I normally take it from things that either frustrate me. If something frustrates me, I try to turn it into humor. I'll try to talk about the GPS or something along those lines. Or I have 3 children now, so I'm starting to dig into a little bit more of that humor. My kids, one of my kids can come see me perform, so I take it easy a little bit. I don't want to get hit with a can of soda while I'm performing. But I find it from a few different, I have some different methods that I use to sort of absorb the humor. And at the same time, trying to maintain business, because there's a whole business side to comedy. That's important. And sometimes you even end up at Tunxis. I mean, you just never know what could happen. Thing 1 and thing 2. We're going to have celebrities in the building. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Do they have you hostage? Is that why? because you haven't moved the whole time. I would slide down.
The chair is
like
ready.
I would slide down 3 seats. Listen, tomorrow you're gonna have on a red sweatshirt and wonder why. You're not gonna even know what happened. You're gonna get the red sweatshirt on in your sleep. And you, on thing 3. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. They're gonna get you all medicated. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Who has another question?
We're in a reading and writing class together. And
Me and you?
sleeps in our class. And we talk about
Have
different
you ever
kinds.
worn the to class? Have you ever worn that?
Yes, actually I have.
There you go. Do that. Now wake up. Here. Your question.
I forget, no.
Oh.
We talk about different kinds of intelligences and incorporating those into reading and writing methods, techniques, and that kind of thing. And one of the things that has occurred to me as I'm listening to you is how quick-witted you are. And we talk about intelligence as this, you know, if you're a really good writer, or you're really good at math, and that kind of thing, I think we kind of forget about the other kinds of intelligences. And I just wanted to point out that your ability to use humor is just such a great writing tool. And I think
Well,
it's
thank you. I appreciate that very much, Clown. Thanks. It probably comes a lot from being raised in a house with 5 older brothers and just sort of having to figure it out and fend for yourself. There was no mercy in those situations. No one was allowed to hit me, but I had to figure out a lot of stuff on my own and be quick about it. You know what I mean? Reading has always interested me, and I read a whole lot of comic books coming up, and you might not find the value in comic books, but I'm telling you, there is a plethora of, look at that $10 word, what? There's a plethora of information in comic books that you may or may not, because there's writers for comic. Did you know that?
Yes.
Are you two like the Kardashians or something? What is? Are you?
Little Poland here.
Oh, you're a singing group. Oh, I got it. I knew I saw y'all on X Factor. That's where I know y'all from. Oh, you're all from Poland.
Yes, Poland here.
Oh, that's what. Now you smile like, oh, we're from Poland. We'll kill you. Oh. Now I get, okay, it's the Polish connection.
Yes,
Right.
that's why I answered.
I got it. Are we going, want to go out to eat later on? You get some Polish food? No? Don't eat Polish food? Okay, I'll stick to soul food. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you for coming. I know it was a long commute, so thank you for stopping over from Krakow. It was just such a distance by train. It's ridiculous. You just don't know. It's like 27 transfers from Poland, and you had to get a cab from the Farmington train station, so it's ridiculous. But thank you for attending tonight. Anybody farther away than Poland? Oh, you have a question?
You talk about being fearless. How do you deal with anxiety before you have to go on stage?
That's such a great question. Don't try to jump in now, Poland. Don't try to jump in now. I'm trying to piggyback on her question. It's a great question because I found that nervousness is wonderful. It's such a wonderful thing. It lets me know I'm alive and that I care. Because as comedians, it's said that when you stop being nervous before you get on stage, you should stop doing it. Nerves mean that you care. Well, just think, how many people here drive? How many people here have licenses? Because it's 2 questions. There's a difference. Does it see, less hands. Do you notice now when you drive, it's not a big deal? I mean, you'll get in the car and drive and eat pizza, a bowl of cereal, put on makeup, check text messages, iPad, download songs, talk to your friends in Poland. It's ridiculous when you get in the car. You're not nervous anymore. But remember your driving test when it was first time to get your license? That is what it's like. I still care, so I still get nervous. And I've played some clubs 10 times. The same club. Where you saw me, I had been to that place 6 times. Still nervous every time because I care. I want to do well. I want to do well. I'm never going to mail it in. Always 110%, because I'm never going to cheat the audience. I'm never going to cheat the audience. People paid to be there. So it's not up to me because I wanted to take a sick day to just kind of mail it in. I'm always going to give you 110% of Chris Tabb. And in order to do that, yes, it makes me nervous. I'm going to get outside myself. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the laugh. There's a question from the back. There's a question from the back.
So I have a question.
You want to know how to get to Poland? Because I know some people. I know some people. Your question.
So when I watch, I personally
Can you stand up when you say it? And your name is?
Dora.
Dora
Yes.
asks.
Because I've watched a few comedy things on YouTube, and I wanted to know, because you did say, nervous is good, but I've noticed a lot of comedians sipping on something while they're, is it alcohol or,
Bam. Great observation. Great observation. You can sit down now. That is all part of their stage presence. That is all part of their swag. That is all part of something that makes them comfortable on stage. Yes, it's usually alcohol. I drink water on stage because if I drank alcohol on stage, it'd be a whole nother show, trust me. I stick with water, but whatever it is to make you comfortable and bring that home. And an interesting story about drinking on stage, because I'm a student of stand-up forever. I'll never think I've mastered this and I've got it. And even a sub-story under that, has anybody seen the movie Comedian with Jerry Seinfeld? If you want to know what it's like inside of stand-up, see that movie. And I'm going to tell you right off, no, it's not supposed to be funny. Because people see it and they go, it wasn't funny. No, it's a documentary. It's an insider's look at stand-up.
It's like taking on the fun out of comedy.
What happened, Hostage?
It's like taking on the fun out of comedy.
No, the fun will never be out of comedy, no. Jerry at the peak of his game, and then they follow another comedian trying to get in the game and trying to establish himself. It's a very, very interesting look. But as I study comedy, that style was probably invented by Red Fox. You know Red Fox is? I'm coming to Georgia. Sanford and Son, you know? Sanford and Son, Red Fox, anybody? Clown Lady? Anybody? No? Red Fox, famous comedian, did tons for stand-up. But Red Fox used to come out with a glass of brandy or something and a cigarette. And that was all part of his swagger. But don't think he's not going through that nervousness and those growing pains on stage. That was all just part of his persona, to deliver to you the jokes in the way that he could deliver to them. Because part of the art form is making you think that we got it. We got it. I'm just following the script. 9 times out of 10, you're watching somebody that's trying stuff out, trying to figure it out. Their swagger, their stage presence is covering that up. I don't know if you watched the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. That was with the 4 redneck guys that did Blue Collar. Anybody? Blue Collar Comedy Tour? Right. Do you remember the 4 guys that were?
Yeah.
You're on the spot right now.
I know, I forgot. It's been a while since I've seen it. But
Don't scream at me.
no,
Okay, don't scream at me. All right, I'm right
see
here.
their
I'm
faces,
right
I
here.
just can't.
Larry the Cable Guy, Ron
Yeah.
White.
Yeah. Okay. Stop it. Everybody. All right. So Ron White.
So good, we have to go.
Back to Poland? Is the train leaving? Oh, you have a quiz. I love how she said that. We have a quiz. All right, hey, take it easy. All right, round of applause for the Polish kids. All right, thanks. All right, look me up, ChrisTabb.com. Thank you. But Ron White carries a glass of drink on stage. And once Ron White paid a fine of, I think it was $25,000 to perform somewhere because he smokes on stage. And there was no smoking allowed in the place. So he just paid the $25,000 so he could smoke his cigar on stage. That's swagger. You have a question?
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you during a performance?
Oh my God. Well, there was this one night at Tunxis. These red-shirted kids up front. And then a clown jumped up. No, I think the worst thing. I don't know. I mean, outside of bombing, I mean, because you know, every comedian has bombed. I would say the worst thing that's ever happened is probably the microphone just stopped working, and I ended up having to, because I didn't want to get off stage. Anybody else would have just left. I didn't leave, and I just did my act screaming at the top of my lungs. And, oh, actually, if you go to YouTube, one night while I was on stage, there was a blackout, and the lights completely went out, and I continued to perform. No one could see me, obviously. It wasn't that funny. It wasn't that. Yeah, the lights went out. It was a complete blackout on stage. And I was credited with like avoiding chaos in the place because I just kept performing. I just kept talking and kept doing what I do. That one's on YouTube under, I think, blackout during comedian set, you could say. I would say that's the worst. And then Tunxis number 2. Next question. Must have been the lunch today, maybe.
I'm going to be your questioner.
Yes.
So let's say you tell a joke and it seems to fall flat on the audience. How do you know, first of all, whether it's just that particular audience or whether it's the joke? And if you think it is the joke, then how do you go about trying to tweak it or trying to?
What happens if a joke falls flat? Well, first of all, you want to rescue yourself from that situation so the entire set doesn't go down the toilet. So because maybe you dropped a new joke in the middle, or you missed a word, or I've had comedians say the punchline first and then do the setup. There's a variety of reasons that a joke falls flat. One of the first, and also what I like to do is stay loose enough to recover. So I don't create the awkward silence, or it just kind of falls flat and people go, oh no. And then sometimes it doesn't matter anything else you say, they've already lost confidence in you. Because there's a relationship going on with the comedian and the audience. So you want to keep that good relationship going. You'll go back and hopefully you've taped, you evaluate. If it did fall flat because it wasn't funny, do you believe in the joke? You got to first assess, do you believe in the joke and do you want to keep it? You have to be willing to rewrite it or let it go. A lot of comedians will have a comedy buddy and they'll go to their comedy buddy and bounce it off of them. Having someone as a friend in your particular field is very, very helpful, because You're not the end all be all. Yes, it's your material and everything else, but even the woman that wrote, what's the name of the movie with the witches and the flying brooms and stuff like that? Harry Potter.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, who was awesome, even had to show Harry Potter in front of test audiences because she might not have it exactly right. She's good, but there's still, you still need that person to bounce it off. Does this convey? Have I gotten the message across? What's missing? And sometimes, and comics are always listening to other comics, because you can probably listen to a friend and say, oh, you know what you should have said right there, or you know what you should have put in right there, or here's what I'm hearing, or try this. So that comedy buddy is very important. Reworking, rewriting, very important. You gotta take the chip off your shoulder, because sometimes you feel like this bit's funny, and I'm not changing any of it. The audience were idiots. Well, they get to decide what's funny and what's not funny, and you gotta rewrite it and deliver it to them. How are we doing on time? We good?
Yeah, about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Does anyone have a question?
Yes.
Mr. Recorder. Is that your phone you're recording on?
That it is.
What kind of memory does that thing? For real? Get out. You must have bought 2 phone cards. Your question.
So does your performance have a lot to do with not just like the mindset of your audience, but like who's actually there? Like specifically, like say there's somebody who, I don't know, keeps getting up and coming back in, or somebody who's wearing a certain kind of thing. Do you play that specific audience member, different audience members into your act too?
Great question. Because I like to remain loose during my performance, I love my material, but I'm not married to it. So yes, I will hop outside my act in a second and address something in the room, because you don't want the audience to feel like you're not in on the joke too. If a tray of glasses fall during your set, everybody heard the tray of glasses fall. Everybody saw this person getting up, getting down, going back, coming back. You gotta let them know, I've got it, I'm in control, I'm in on the joke too. Because if you're sort of up there as an island and you're just talking at people, they'll tune out. They'll tune out. They'll just, you know, I'm not feeling enough of a connection with this person to understand what they're talking about. So even in the material that you're writing, you want to connect with the audience as well. So all my setups, when I'm setting a joke up, when I'm getting ready for it, I've got to set it up enough so I'm setting the table for everybody. So everybody feels welcome when they sit down to eat. So yes, I got to notice everything that's going on in the room, because I'm the captain, I'm driving. I got to know what's what. In certain situations, obviously if I'm taping for television and I only got 8 minutes, maybe I can't say something about the lady with toilet paper on her shoe. Or the red shirt twins. Or the Polish people. So sometimes you gotta stay focused and just stay at it. But if I'm in a nightclub and it's going good and the lights are low and everybody's happy, it's gonna be a wild ride. Buckle up. Giddy up. More questions. So if I could say one thing for you to take with you is you gotta definitely follow your dreams. You guys are in the field of creation. There's no hard and fast rules here. It's not like you're, you know, architects or draftsmen or building highways or buildings. You know, there are rules to all of that. You are the creative mind. It's your mind. Get it out to the people so they can understand it. Your mind, your ideas. It's wide open. It's wide open. I'm still learning things about comedy and what's off limits and what you can't talk about and how to talk about something. I may not talk about it in my act, but I appreciate another comedian going the extra mile, taking the extra step. So whatever field of writing you're in, pick up whoever is supposed to be the Michael Jordan of that field. Maybe some of their early stuff, maybe some of the stuff after they become a superstar, and see where it went to where it's going to be. You gotta forever be a student. You can never stop learning. Never stop learning. Keep it going and rock out. Do what you love, and the money will follow. But don't wear red shirts. All right.